guys, so I'm gonna see Nutcracker in 4 Realms today. Kind of interested in this one. Pretty excited to see in Dolby though, so there's that. So see you guys there.
I'm afraid I'd be lonely. I suppose I have you to thank for that.
I suppose you do.
And besides, I have a new friend now.
Alright guys, so let's get talking about this new Nutcracker in the 4 Realms movie. I did see it in Dolby, and I'm gonna be quite honest with you guys. I thought the use of the Dolby Atmos surround sound was quite impressive, and it looked really nice in Dolby Vision. Like, it was very sharp within its colors and very bright. And then after the Dolby showing, I went into the regular showing real quick, and man, it was just so dark and the colors were so dual. So if you get a chance to hopefully check this movie out with a 4K projection, that is really going to make the movie stand out more. And the Dolby Atmos surround sound, which is some of the best Dolby Atmos that I've personally ever heard, I would recommend watching, if you guys are even going to see this movie, watching it that way. But as for the actual movie itself, yikes. Let's just get into the review for the actual movie itself. In the Nutcracker in 4 Realms, we have a girl named Clara who seeks on an adventure inside of this box that her mom basically owned before she even passed away. And now she's looking for this key that will basically protect all 4 realms. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this is a movie that I was kind of looking forward to. Those trailers really got me on hook because, you know, the visuals look nice, the movie looked quite beautiful. Although I wasn't too sure about the story, but I was hoping that it was actually going to be good in the actual movie itself. And wow, what a disappointment this movie actually was. And honestly, I shouldn't be surprised because you know, a lot of people thought that this movie looked bad. A lot of people thought this movie looked really good. I was one of the people that thought it looked good. And man, I was just really disappointed about this movie. And not only that, I thought that this movie would just keep on going for the streaks of good Disney movies this year, but unfortunately it just killed that streak. And this movie just did not live up to what it should have been. This movie is just a big mess all around. The story doesn't exactly make much sense, and it's just very disappointing how the story overall just unfolds. And it just falls into the category of being extremely bland and extremely predictable, and it uses some cliches that Disney kind of likes to use, especially in their fairy tale movies. Also, the story is just really nothing that interesting, unfortunately, to a point where this movie just kind of sort of becomes boring. And I hate using that word, but this movie honestly did kind of have me bored. Of course, two of my friends fell asleep during the movie, and one of them was actually looking forward to watching this movie. And you know, this movie just did nothing to keep the energy going and keep the audience members entertained. And I looked over at the parents that brought their children to this movie, and they were just awfully bored as well. And the kids in the theater somewhat kind of seemed a tad entertained by this movie, but it was probably because of the nice and colorful visuals. And honestly, that's the reason that I didn't exactly leave out. Well, I mean, I don't walk out of movies that much, but honestly, with this one, not that I was considering on walking out, just that I just wanted the movie to end. But at least I was just sort of entertained by some of the nice visual choices that they make for this movie. Although for the actual story itself, again, it's just very bland and it's very boring. And I mean, even the Alice in Wonderland movies had more structure to their stories than this movie had. Although, on the bright side, Mackenzie Foy is very much a standout in this movie, where she actually gives us a good performance for her character, and she's obviously the best character and probably the only good character in this movie. Keira Knightley, though, even though I didn't really like her character all that much in this movie, and she's very cartoonish in this movie, she does have a weird and cartoonish performance in this movie, which I kind of appreciated. At some points, it kind of reminded me of Johnny Depp in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, although she was a bit more weirder in this one. But she was actually okay in this movie, but not a big fan of her character, but I was a fan of what she did for the character in this movie. But all the other characters here are just very flat and very just two-dimensional, and there's just nothing to these characters or no development at all. And actually, I forgot to mention Morgan Freeman. I forgot he was even in this movie. He's really the only reason why he was in this movie is to give a motivational speech to the main character in this movie, and basically the only reason why he's actually in this movie. Also, the CGI, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's quite bad, but again, the visuals do stand out though, and but you know, it just doesn't pay for the fact that this movie is just another one of those wasted opportunities for a good fairy tale movie. Just that this movie it's just not all that good. The story isn't interesting. The characters aren't interesting. It has a bad and predictable twist. There's just nothing to this movie for me to really recommend. If you really just want to check out this movie, I guess just wait for a rental. Otherwise, not a huge fan of this movie. I do like some scenes were actually quite entertaining in the movie, and of course some of the visuals were good. Some CGI is good, some it's not, but Mackenzie Foy also kind of helped this movie, but it's just still not a very good movie. And if it wasn't for those things, my grade for this movie would just be much lower. I was very disappointed with this one. Honestly, you know, I'm not a big fan of this movie, unfortunately. Anyways, with that being said, I'm gonna give the Nutcracker in 4 Realms a D+. Anyways, this movie was a big flop at the box office, but I'm curious if you guys saw this movie, what did you guys think about it? Tell me in the comment section down below. I'm interested to know what you guys thought about this movie. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.